Before I start this lesson, I'd like to give all praise and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, great meals to who will teach all. Shalom to the 124,000 men that Christian believe in prayer and all true sincerity and sacrifice their lives and wills to do so. Shalom to the men, women, and children that's tuning in and listening. And shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered about on all four corners of the earth. The Heavenly Father name is Yahweh, His only begotten Son name is Yahweh Shai. And Lord, when this video edify, quick and straight to the point. This video will be entitled, give me 1 second, the Apple C.H.I.P. I'm going to find another title, but that's pretty much the basis of this video. You know, recently Apple have came out with the information of giving a C.H.I.P. and not information, they came out with the technology for releasing a C.H.I.P. Now, we all know what this means. And if you don't know by now, that C.H.I.P. is according to Revelation 13, you know, and the last four to five verses, you know. And according to that C.H.I.P., that C.H.I.P. will be implemented. That C.H.I.P. is the M-A-R-K, the mark of the beast, is the C.H.I.P. That's Esau's branding chip. To basically say, that I own you. The ultimate contract, and the ultimate I own you moment in history. And this is what we're looking out for. These are the things that's coming upon us. We are about to witness the great chipping. But I'm going to go ahead and grab this article. This won't be long. I'm just going to grab this article and then I'll close out. So, and this is cnet.com. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article. Coming soon to Apple devices, brain control accessibility features. Now, you have to think, if Apple has an ability like this, don't you think the C.H.I.P. is true? Well, it's about to be June, ain't it? It's about to be June. What they say? When they said, it's June, damn it, it ain't no C.H.I.P. Where's June? There's no microchip. Hey, you know what? It's about to be June, and guess what? There's a microchip. But anyway, you know, it's about to be known who are the real men that was teaching the truth. But anyway, a standard for brain implants that would allow disabled people to control devices such as iPhones and the Apple Vision Pro could be available for developers this year. And yet, C.H.I.P. going to make it seem like, oh yeah, you know, if you have a disability where you can't walk or can't see, you can see again. That's pursuant to Matthew 24. I'll grab that real quick. What's that? Matthew 24. Deceive many. Deceive. Give me a second. I spelled it wrong. Deceive many. Okay. Let me see. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 11. Many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. And yeah, you know, Edom is a part of that. He'd be acting and saying, oh yeah, well that C.H.I.P. can ultimately make you walk again, make you see again, make you move your body the way you would want to, have control of your body. And no, that C.H.I.P. is going to be used to ultimately, I'll jump to verse 24 too. That C.H.I.P. will ultimately be used to implement the NWO. So I'm gonna jump to verse 24. For there shall arise many false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that it were possible they shall deceive the very elect. And yeah, that's what's about to happen. We're about to see that. A lot of people are going to get deceived. A lot of people are going to take that C.H.I.P. thinking, oh, well, you know, it's to help me feed my kids and walk again and see again and move my body again. You know, they already got cybernetic. There's people out here with cybernetic implants already. So you have to think, if people already have cybernetic implants, that was something. When I was in school, I'd say about middle school, so we talking like 2016, 15, 17. Well, that's when I was in middle school. But anyway, like 5 to 10 years ago, they was talking about, no, not 5 years ago. Let me go back a little bit. 8 to 10 years ago, they was talking about cybernetic implants. People getting cybernetic arms attached, cybernetic legs. So you gotta think, if they're attaching cybernetic appendages to limbs, you don't think they gotta see him? You gotta make that make sense in your own mind and logic, and own mind and brain. If they have cybernetic body parts that can be attached to your fucking limbs, what the fuck do you think is gonna happen? What the fuck you think is gonna happen, man? The C.H.I.P will be mandated and implemented. There's no, what if the C.H.I.P is a real thing and you people gonna realize it, and you false camps or false teachers that say the C.H.I.P wasn't real, y'all gonna find out that it was, and it's gonna be painfully known too as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back to this article. Apple is making progress towards a standard for brain implant devices that can help people with disabilities control devices such as iPhones with their thoughts. So yeah, what you think is gonna happen? They're gonna put a chip in your brain or in your arm. I seen that in Iron Man. Well, I forgot which. I don't know if it was the first one, second, or third. It might have been the first two. But long story short, the main character in Iron Man, he put an implant in his arm to control his armor and make his armor come to him. That's exactly what happened. And I just remembered that. But that's what's happening. They were showing that in movies they were showing that in movies for a very long time. So what you think is going to happen? You people going to realize that what y'all learned and heard from these false teachers and false prophets, these churches that will say, oh yeah. And it's funny because if, GMS, going back to when I was a kid, churches wasn't talking about Mark of the Beast then. They was talking about prosperity and happiness and mirth. They wasn't talking about nothing else. Now, beginning with the Apostles, Elders, the Great Millstone, they've been talking about the C.H.I.P. They've been talking about it. And the Lord has had it being brought out with their thoughts, as reported in the Wall Street Journal. Apple has plans to release that standard to other developers later this year. So yeah, it will be manufactured. It will probably already is manufactured. Let's be honest, this already is. By the time you figure out something, you already done did this shit already. You're probably late to the party. The company has partnered with Synchron, which has been working with other companies, including Amazon, ways to make devices more accessible. Synchron makes an implant called Sterntoe that is implemented in a vein on the brain motor complex. So that's a brain C.H.I.P. So if you can't understand and see it, you're just going to take it anyway. And a lot of people ain't going to be seeing it and understanding it. These people are going to take that chip willingly. And no, you won't be forced to take the chip. You will have to make a choice. And I'll grab that too real quick. This is Revelations chapter, 3 and 10, or is it 2 and 10? I get them two flip-flop. Yeah, it's 3 and 10. This is Revelation chapter 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And yeah, a temptation. That means you're being tempted, tried with something. Just like Yahushua was tempted when he was meditating in Matthew 4. Yahushua was tempted. So we're going to be tempted and tested. Everybody on this earth will be tempted and tested to either take that C.H.I.P or B. Well, let me say this. They will be tempted or tested to not take the C.H.I.P or to take the C.H.I.P. And you people are going to either not take it. And just because you don't take it don't mean you're going to be saved. Now, granted, if you're an Israelite, hey, that could be a sign. But a lot of Israelites don't have that faith to be like, oh, well, the Lord, if I didn't take the C.H.I.P, then the Lord could. They don't think that. And a lot of people are waking up to the fact that this C.H.I.P is the mark of the beast. So ultimately, that's what the times are rolling into. The C.H.I.P is the MOTB. So I'm gonna read a little more. As we saw last year, a patient with ALS system, the Synchron technology was able to navigate menus in the Vision Pro device and use it to experience with the Swiss Alps in VR. The technology could become more widely available to people with paralysis. And yeah, that's one of those great wonders. Oh, well, we could make a paraplegic or someone that can't walk with polio can walk again. Just give an example. So a blind man can see again if we insert the C-hip into him. It's opening his vision and eyesight. It's things like that. That's that God complex Esau has. He think, oh, well, if I could make this C-hip, these people ain't gonna know. These people won't think that I'm God. And that's literally how he thinks. That's how Esau Edom thinks. The elites of Esau Edom thinks. These low-level Edomites don't think like that to the extent. The technology could become more widely available to people with paralysis. The company has a community portal for those interested in learning about future tests. So they already learned. They probably already tested. They have, 2-3 years ago, they was testing on monkeys. So if you think they was testing on monkeys, they was testing on humans. Esau always like to do that. Effects on accessibility. Although Apple is planning to release its standards, it may be a while before the kinds of technology made by Synchron and Elon Musk's brain interface company Neuralink reach a mass audience with those who need it. Man, it ain't gonna take long. Soon as something happens, they're gonna roll that shit out right there. China's developing one. All these countries are developing their C-hip, but ultimately at the end of the day, the C-hip will be the ushering in of the NWO. That C-hip will be used to control the people. And Jake gonna fall for it, and you either gonna fall for it. I'm gonna read a little more, then I'm gonna grab some precepts, and I'm gonna go ahead and close out. It's important to keep in mind that while amazing medical interventions, interventions are becoming possible, the timeline for full mainstream adoption of people with severe mobility disabilities is still long, and we should maintain a focus on ensuring that we are making products accessible now, says Bob Farrell, Vice President of Solution Delivery and Accessibility at Applause, a technology center company that recently released an accessibility report. And we all know that at the end of the day, Esau Edom's going to make that available for everybody. It's going to be a choice. Get stabbed up, get stabbed up, cut up for some benefits. And that's what there's going to be. And it's pretty plain and simple. Even some Christians are starting to see that. So for you, Jake, for you Israelite camps that say, oh, the MOTB ain't the chip, it's sin. It's sin and all this. What? Bro, Christians are seeing this shit, man. Christians are seeing what the MOTB is. They can understand it. You just got to go to the word and break it down in the Greek and Hebrew. It's pretty simple. But nonetheless, that's what we're coming into the times of where the C-hip will be implemented. So I'm going to grab Daniel 12 real quick. This ain't going to be long. This is just something that I just seen on the internet. This is Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. And yeah, the book was sealed for a period of time. This book was sealed. No prophet was able to break it down. No prophet was able to get it. And back in 1969, the high priest Abba Bibas, Salakia, if I butchered the title and rank, which is Elijah coming back, which is in Malachi. Came back. The seals was broke. Well. Let me say this. Yahushua broke the seals first. Let me slow down a little bit. Yahushua broke those seals. Yahushua broke the seals. Then after a period of time, the high priest of Abimelech, which is Elijah coming back, he put that breath. But it all begins with Yahushua. It always begins with Yahushua. And now let me see. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So that means the Wi-Fi wasn't a thing back in ancient Roman Greece. They did not have tanks. They didn't have cars. Probably the only thing, the closest thing was to a fucking car was a horse and a carriage or a chariot, which was close to that. They didn't have spaceships, rockets, airplanes, light poles. And by light poles, I mean electricity. They didn't have electricity back then. So for you to say, the C.H.I.P right there, Daniel 12 goes into the simple fact that technology has evolved. And Edom has made some the Lord made it to where you have these inventions. The Lord made it to where, put this in the mind of the heathen so that you can forward this agenda. That's exactly what's happening. And what has happened. So, and with that being said, that C.H.I.P was a part of that. So I'm going to grab this Job chapter 5, and then I'll close out what time we're for. So, all right, this is Job chapter 5. And I'll start at verse 11. To set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. And the Lord set up those that are low on high. He set up the basis of man, which is Edom, up on high in the rulership. So if the Lord can set up a weakling of a being up on high, he can set the righteous in authority. And we're going to run perfectly, flawlessly. People think, we begin our ass beat by Edom for so long. Jake don't think maybe, we need to be put in power. Not we need to be put, we maybe need to be put in power. They don't think, I'm of the chosen people. When the earth gets reestablished, when Yahushua come back, we gonna be on top. Jake don't think like that. They so stuck up the white man's ass to the point where they don't even have the faith or the mental wherewithal or spiritual discernment to know, if 2 Ezra 6:9 says what it says, what does that mean to me? They don't think like that. Anyway, verse 12, he disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And Esau Edom is going to crash and burn. Now the Lord's going to let a lot of the people that's meant to get chipped. And that's just how it is. But at the end of the day, when Esau think he's done, when Esau think he's when he think he's at reach, almost completed his mission, the Lord gonna come in, swoop down, and take his ass out of power. Let me see. Verse 13, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. And let me see. Is that up in this verse 2 or no? But ultimately the Lord's going to come back and destroy this place. And not just this place. He's going to make it known that, hey, what y'all doing ain't right. The Lord's going to come down, stop Esau Edom, and put belt to ass. And that's just this time period we're about to come into. It's about to be a lot of judgments going forth. And this is not just going towards y'all, it's going towards me as well. It's been going on. A spirit is going on to be on our shit and tight. So that goes for me as well, being tight on our shit. But anyway, this is just a little video that I was thinking about and meditating on. And I found an article on this, and this is recent news. So, Lord, one of these videos edifying. Before I close out, I'd like to give our praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Lord, one of these videos edifying, and on to the next one. Shalom.